Hello, my loves. So we need to start taking our ego out of our decision making. What I mean by that, let me back up altogether. What I mean by that is a lot of times when we have a fear around doing something that we know will elevate our lives, something that we feel called to do. Let's say that. Something that we feel called to do. Whenever we get that calling, and then there's those fears that come up, right? Those fears of, oh, hold on. Oh, goodness, I need some coffee. Those fears of, am I worthy of this, right? Particularly for my people pleasers, but particularly those of us who struggle with self-worth issues, right? The instant feeling when an idea comes to us is, are we worthy enough to have that, right? Even if you haven't identified that feeling, that's very much what it is. Am I worthy enough to have this, to do this thing, to carry forth the purpose that I'm given? So all of those fears come up. Now, that is a very human thing to have happen. I think one of the things on this physical realm that we need to experience and also work through is all of the fears, doubts, anger, all of that, all of those very real emotions. But to find a balance, there has to be a balance in everything. No matter what you do, there has to be a balance. Light, dark, feminine, masculine, there's a balance in everything. So it's perfectly normal and human to feel the emotion of fear, to feel the emotion of anger, whatever the case may be, right? And there's always a deeper emotion below the fear, of course, but to feel those feelings, but remember to let it cycle through you, and then to acknowledge it, to acknowledge that side of yourself, to acknowledge that side of your ego that is telling you this, but then to say, okay, I hear you, but now let's do it anyway, because this is an idea that came to us and through us, right? Because we are all spiritual beings. And this is what I want you to envision. I want you to envision that in your heart center, close your eyes, in your heart center is a smaller version of you that's just standing there and looking out at the world, just as you look out at the world. A smaller version of you right here in your heart center. Anytime you get an idea for something, most of the time when we get an idea for something, especially if it's something that we haven't seen before, but it just feels like, ooh, I would love to try that, but what if? I would love to try that. That idea came from a spirit. It came from your spirit team. It came from whoever. It came from source, right? Because I do believe deities, our ancestors, all of that is sources of energy that come from source. So they are part of source, right? So whether you say the idea came from God, source, whatever, right? And then your spirit team is just there to help push you to do the thing and to help you get to where you get to and to set everything up for you so that you can get to where you need to get to in the easiest way. Think of it. So when that idea comes to you, that idea came to you and is meant to be done by you because it came through spirit. Now there is an idea that some people can get the exact same idea, that they have somehow connected on brain waves, connected on the frequency level, so they have shared creative ideas, right? Which is how sometimes you will pass on an idea, you won't do an idea for a certain reason, and then later you find somebody else did the exact thing that you thought of. It's because a lot of times they may be picking up on the same frequency that idea, the energy of that idea carries, if that makes sense. But if it comes to you, you are meant to do it, right? And so you have to honor that. It is okay to have the fears, to say, but what if? What if I fail? What if I succeed and they expect more of me? Can I be up to task? I understand all the buts. Trust me, I live with them every single minute of every single day. I understand it. But I'm also at a point in my life in 2026 at the ripe old age of 44, where that needs to not be a hindrance anymore. So whatever I'm doing, like even when I was looking at old videos of myself from fucking 3 years ago or more, I'm almost talking about the exact same thing. So I really sat down and was like, okay, Janae, what is the shift going to be for you? Because we can't 3 years later be talking about the same thing. That's not, first off, Hecate alone will not allow that to happen. My ancestors will not allow that to happen. They're not going to keep me stuck here. They're going to take drastic action soon. If I do not find a new shift, a new way to see this, a new way to push past the fear, right? Because the thing is, if you don't push past it, if you give into it, it grows and grows and grows and becomes this huge thing. It becomes a huge part of you. It becomes damn near the same size as you. So it is very hard. It feels oftentimes like it is outside of you, like it is pressing down on you, right? And when it's at its height for me, that's what it feels like. It feels like it is outside of me. Like it is so big inside of me that it grows outside. It's massive. And so to think of it instead of this small little version of me just sitting inside my heart center, inside my chest here, that's looking out the same time I am, already that shift helps because it says that I am bigger than my fear, which you are. Your soul is bigger than your fear. But it's visually like, I am bigger than my fear. And so me and my ego, the part of it that holds all of those emotions that we should feel as a human, but we should also push through. That part of me is also looking out as well. And then knowing that when an idea comes to me to do something, I can then close my eyes and speak to that part of me, because that part of me is instantly going to speak. As soon as an idea comes, that part of me is going to be like, but wait, do you remember in 2009 when we tried something vaguely similar and we failed it totally failed and it didn't work out. This is not going to work today. This is not going to work. We're not going to be, instantly it will start talking. That small part of me will start yelling, right? And I have to give it its moment and give her her moment and say, okay, I hear you. Now step out of the way and let it flow through. And then visualize that little part of me just stepping out of the way and then letting the light come through, because that's what it feels like. Or that's what I envision it as, is this white light energy just coming straight down out of the ether, out of the cosmos, out of the sky, coming down, and the idea just being like, ooh, yes, that's terrifying, but exciting. And ooh, but what if, right? And then that's when small version of me comes in and is like, wait, we must protect ourselves. And so, and that's what happens there. But it is still this beautiful white light energy that is coming through my brain, lighting everything up. It's its own form of dopamine. And for an ADHD like myself, I thread these ideas that come through and I'm like, ooh, you know what I mean? And it lights everything up and then goes down through my throat and bam. When it hits little bit me here, that's when it like comes to a screeching halt. Like the light gets blocked. You know what I mean? And a lot of times in the past, I feel like, if we're following this imagery, I feel like what happened is that little version of me started almost pushing it away, so that the light was being pushed up and up, getting trapped in my throat, so it was hard to speak. I felt terrified to speak, right? And so that's also where, if you follow like chakras, this idea that a throat chakra is blocked, that's what it felt like to me, as if it was being pushed up and out, like it was just being, no, we're pushing that out because it's not going to work, right? So that version of me has its own power base, right? And I've been feeding it so long that it has the power to push it out. And so now I have to make the decision like, no, she's going to stay the small version of me who I envision her being, like on those spaceships, where there's like a viewing, not like I've been on a spaceship, but in the movies where they have the clear glass and you can look out over the cosmos, over everything, right? And you can see everything that's happening, or you can see everything, stars exploding. That's how I'm very creative. So that's my mind, like you can see all of that happening. So she and me can see all that happening. It's like all of this energy is coming in and we see it, and she sees the possibilities of what can go wrong, which blocks me, soul, from seeing all the ways it will succeed, right? Because she's speaking from my heart center, right? She's speaking and the heart center a lot of times feels like the core, right? Because everything starts with spirit, everything starts with feeling. So if you feel something from the heart, and she to me is the feelings of fear and anger and sadness, all of that can often, the energy of it sometimes eclipses joy and happiness if you let it. If you focus on it too much, it will magnify and overshadow joy, happiness, anything of that, because that also has its own beautiful energy and its own balance. Once again, we're going back into this idea of balance. Everything has balance to it, right? And so that's what it feels like we're looking out. But her fears and how everything can go wrong block me from seeing how everything will be right, how everything will end up exactly as it's meant to, and exactly in this beautiful way that I could have never ever imagined for myself. Because it's not just me there on that it's not just me there. I have so many spiritual guides behind me, right? Between my ancestors, between goddesses, between entities that have come in and out with different messages too. Like I am not alone here, right? But this little part of me, she can be very loud, very loud. And so I have to visualize and be able to tell her, okay, I see you, I hear you, but I think we're going to do this anyway because this feels different. And I think maybe by putting it that way, this feels different, it'll let her know like, oh, I don't think so, but if you think so, okay, I'm going to give it a try and we'll see. This feels different. And I think by saying this feels different, let's step out the way and let this light flow all the way through. Let's see how far this can take us. Like there's a lightness there even just saying that. This feels different. Let's step out the way, let the light come through, and see where it takes us. See how far it shines. See where, and it's funny that Hecate is the deity I work with, because she is the torch bearer, right? She just said that's no coincidence. All right, girl. But yeah, see how far this light can go, and the light always goes all the way down into the ground because we are all the elements in one, right? We are the ether. The soul is the fifth element, and we are comprised of all elements. And so it comes from top source all the way through down your body, down into the ground. It anchors you. It's almost like the idea is coming from, because your soul is, the soul in your physical body is a fraction of the pure magnitude of your soul. I did a deep meditation once where I saw how big my soul was. It was magnificent. It took up it was trippy. Anyways, whatever. Your soul is a lot bigger than what your physical form says, than your physical form. And so when I say the idea comes from source, it comes from soul, but soul comes from source. So it could be you in multiple different timelines. It could be you in a different timeline who's already living that thought. And so that thought comes to you so you can do it, so you can link up in that. Who knows? There's only so much I know about the grand scheme of the spirit realm and of how the universe works and frequency and electricity. I'm sure there's somebody else who knows way more about it that can speak more on it. But what spirit has shown to me anyway is that my soul is picking up frequency messages from across timelines, across space, across time, across different planets, because my soul definitely came from off planet. So like across, and there's not even just ancestral knowledge, but what is the knowledge? Soul knowledge. It's the only way I can think of it. Like past the earthly realm. Like some souls have knowledge that goes beyond when their soul came to earth. So that not right. So like it's spread out all. It's massive. And so when you're picking up these messages and these ideas and everything like that, don't question where the idea came from. It came to you. So let the light of it go through, light up your brain and everything, and then let it go through you. And find joy in the first off the idea that it came to you. Find joy and beauty in that. And then from there, then you do the planning and all of that, which once again, spirit will lead you through all of that. I've said before a long time back that the hows are not up to you. They will unfold themselves as it happens. In fact, if you saw the entire way that they would want you to do it, the fear would overwhelm you because you would think that you're like, oh, I'm definitely not up to task to do that, to do all of those steps to get where there's no way I'd be able to do that, right? Which is why I think a lot of times they don't show you the full, you're not shown the full plan, because each step is healing in and of itself. Each step is strengthening you. Each step, for me this year, 2026, I said it is choosing myself. Choosing myself. That is the theme, the whatever you want to call it. Choosing myself. And that is going to require, and I've said that before, but this year particularly, not only am I choosing myself, but I'm in a state of reset. I said before where Hecate said, you're going back to the bones, stripping away everything that you thought you knew about yourself, that you called yourself, and going back to the bones of what makes you soul deep happy. My company is called Soul Deep Happy Coaching because that's what I want for myself. It's what I want for my clients, for the people that I help, is to help them build a soul deep happy life, right? And so when you are shown this idea, if you actually saw all the steps that you needed to go through, you would be like, there's no way I'll be able to do that, which is why I think you are only shown 1 or 2 steps at a time, because there is healing to be done at every single step. Every step requires you to push through something, to push through and heal a part of yourself. And I'm not going to say your inner child, because I think there are different stages of healing. Like I've healed my inner child, and now I'm on to like college version of me who went through her own trauma. I think we heal different parts of ourselves at the different ages. I think you heal your inner child first, and then okay, now the next phase was there trauma when you were a teenager, when you were in college, when you were mid-adult, like what there's different levels of healing. And because that trauma, because those issues, mental blocks, however you want to word it, they've been building up over decades. So it is going to take time. And even when you think I have healed this, I've overcome this particular block of mine, a lot of times spirit will show you where it still shows up in your life, where you need to do more healing around it, right? Okay, like it'll show up in this area, so pay attention to that. Here's where we need to do healing. So every step, there is healing that is required in it. And that is why I believe you're never shown the full spirit. No, I'm not going to say this for everybody. Perhaps some people do see the entire plan before it actually happens. I should speak for me. For me, I understand that they do not show me the full thing because they know I will talk myself out of it in a second. So that little part of me that can be very loud and pushy would talk myself out of it in a second. So I know they are only showing me 2 steps ahead. If that. Sometimes they may only show me one step ahead. One how, because they're like, this is a big how, so we're gonna have you work on this and get through that, and then we'll show you the next how, right? And so I think it's important to understand that, but to visualize that as well. The idea that the light is coming through the top of your head down, and you just gently acknowledge those fears, that small version of you inside, and say, okay, step out the way, and then let it go through. And then enjoy the beauty of the light as it just like shines around you as you make the movements to be like, okay, this is the next place we're going to go, right? This is the next bridge we're going to walk over. I've been really into bridges lately as far as visuals I use in meditation. Bridges are it used to be doors, but lately it's been bridges. Bridges to different, it almost feels like to different worlds, but different realities. I guess you could think of it that way too. But, you know, to cross that bridge, to be like, okay, we're here. We're going to cross this bridge, and we're going to trust that on the other side, we may not see who is on that planet, what's on that planet, what's on that reality, but we going to trust that it's set up for us, right? So yeah, that's what I want you to envision, and to understand that you are a vessel, a container for the power inside of you, particularly for Black and brown people, particularly for Black and brown women. We are the blueprint, or black print, as the case may be, of life. And I was watching a TikTok the other day, and there was a guy who said Indigenous people are they were the keepers of portals. They were the ones that would guard portals, or stargates, whatever you want to call them, but portals into other dimensions, all of that, right? They were the ones who held the power necessary to control the gate, so to speak, right? To control the bridge, let's think of it that way. To control that portal. And certain people, beings, wanted to control that, which is why there is such a grab for land, why there is such a need to either control or eradicate the indigenous people of said land, right? So if they cannot control them, then they get rid of them, right? But that power is something that they cannot hold. So they need to use those people to hold the power for them, or harvest their energy enough to where they're able to hold that power on their own. But it is extremely hard for them to hold the power, because that's not what they were built for. They're not the originals. They were never trusted with that. Probably because Source knew that they would not honor it the way Indigenous people honor the land, the way Indigenous people honor energy, frequency, vibration. So Black and brown people have this beautiful powerhouse of energy. We are the core, you know? I mean, when I was watching the Grammys, and I saw that entire performance, like, dude, I get it. I get why y'all mad. I mean, we are powerful Black excellence, beauty. Like, what I saw on that stage, both me and my sister was like, yo, that is powerful. And I get why they're mad. Like, they can't even be on that level. Like, that's not, I get why you mad. I mean, stay mad, but like, I get why you're mad. But like, I mean, it is what it is. Like, I just, but yeah, no, I get it. I get why they're mad. Anyways, I went off topic. Hello, ADHD. Okay, back to it. Ego. Getting that out of the way so that you can allow the message to come through and hit how it needs to hit, okay? And do what you need to do. See if that method works for you. And that verbiage works for you. By telling that version of you, this feels different. Let's see what happens. And then gently, like, stepping out of the way of that funnel of light coming through. And then see what happens. See if that helps at all. I will say, just visualizing it, that my nervous system didn't go haywire. Like there's a nothingness feeling, which is good. If I feel nothing, that's great. Because otherwise the default is that I get anxiety. So if I feel nothing, if it's the absence, then I know I'm doing well. But yeah, see how that works for you. Okay. Again, my name is Janae, and I am all about helping Black and Brown women heal and create a soul deep happy life through the use of plant medicine, magic, mindset practices, because I believe spirit, mind, and body is all connected. Everything starts spirit, goes into mind, and then body. Particularly for all of my neurospicy women out there. It can be a struggle, and so I'm here just to be the light that helps you on your way. So the link is in my bio if you want to learn more about me and what I do and work with me, or get any of my spiritual products that can help you as well. Anyways, that is it for me. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow.